Hi, and welcome to this presentation on Hilchos Kiddush Hachodesh of the Rambam. It's really an introduction to Hilchos Kiddush Hachodesh, just understanding a little bit about the movements of the sun, the moon, and how it affects the Meilad Lavana and other things of that nature. So let's begin. Over here, in theory, this is exactly when it's Rish Chodesh. It's going to be maybe a little before Rish Chodesh because, as you can see, the sun meets up exactly with the moon. So at this point, when the sun is in a straight line with the moon and the earth, so then the part of the moon that's lit up is the part that's facing the sun, meaning that us on earth, besides for the fact that the sun is shining so strongly and we can't look at it, but besides for that, the part of the moon that we're looking at is not lit up by the sun, and so we won't see anything at all. Now, in a regular month, this won't be an eclipse, because even though they're lined up, that's only in terms of they're lining up in this way, but not in terms of the height in the way they are in this direction. So the sun may be a little higher, and so the moon's not blocking it, or maybe a little lower, so the moon's not blocking it. Now, what happens every day, let's do this again. What happens every day is that the sun goes around the earth a full revolution. It actually goes around the full revolution, 360 degrees, but it's actually 361 degrees. The reason why it actually comes to the same place, even though it's an extra degree, is because although the outer galgal that turns the sun and everything in it goes around 361 degrees, the sun has its own path where it goes back every day 1 degree in the opposite direction. So the daily circle goes around 361 degrees and it's from east to west, but the sun goes back in its own path 1 degree, and so it ends up in the same place. However, it may be a little higher or a little lower because the sun's galgal is not exactly around, let's say, the center of the earth, but rather it's in a shape like this. Let's see if we could pull that up so we could see what we're referring to. So you see it has a galgal like this. So the galgal Yemi, the daily one, goes around this way, around the center of the earth, and the sun goes back in its galgal 1 degree. And that's why sometimes we have summer in the up north, when the sun is going in this direction on its galgal, and then down south it'll be winter. And sometimes when the sun goes all the way around and it comes to this point, then down south it'll be over here, and they'll have summer and we'll have winter. Now, let's come back to where we left off. So after 1 day of circling the earth, 24-hour period, the sun comes back to the same point. However, that's not true for the moon, because the sun goes back 1 degree in its galgal, in its sphere that goes around the earth, but the moon goes back 13 degrees, which means if it went around 361 and then it went backwards 13, that means it's 12 degrees off. And so essentially what's happening here is that the sun is moving more quickly around the earth than the moon, and so after 1 day the moon is a little behind, and what that could cause is that we are now able to see a sliver of the moon. We're going to see the eastern part, because the eastern part of the moon is what's being the sun is shining on, and we would see like a little moon, like a banana, maybe on the first day, second and third days. So as we're going along the month, this is 2 days later, you see the moon is moving further away, the sun is going faster around the earth, and the moon is falling behind. And during this period of time, the eastern side of, well, it's not the eastern side, it's actually to the west, because the sun comes from the east and going to the west, and it's shining on this side of the moon. The western side is lit up, and slowly by slowly more and more of it is being lit up in that we can see. It's always halfway lit up. The question is, which half? What is facing us? So over here, the moon is being lit up over here, and we can see a nice amount of it. Here is about a quarter of the way through the month. If we go on a few more revolutions, and now midday is when the moon is going to start rising, and there'll be a half a moon. That would be around right here. And as the day progresses, when it's going close to sunset, the moon will be above us, and again we'll have half a moon. So you could say that the first half of the month, the sun is running away from the moon. And you can see over here, the moon is already even further behind in this race around the earth. And now we're already getting close to 15 days, halfway through the month. Let's do a few more turns to get to that point. It's almost there. Now we're halfway through the month, which means now you won't see the moon during the day. It's on the other side of the earth. The sun is shining on it, over the earth or beneath the earth. The whole moon is now seen because the whole part is shown lighting up, but only where it's night. And then the sun goes to the other side of the earth. Now this side, they will see a full moon because this side of the moon, the one that's facing planet Earth, is lit up. And now the second half of the month, you could say that the sun is no longer running away from the moon. It's now chasing after the moon to catch back up. And indeed, after 15 more revolutions, basically 15 days, which is half the month, it's around 15 days, the sun will once again catch up to the moon. And this is a month later. And if you notice, you'll see that the sun is now higher up. It came to the north. Now it's beginning into the summertime. It would be Iyar. We started off on Nisan. And let's see how 15 days later, the sun catches up to the moon. Oh, already are catching up. It's going to be 29 and a half days later. And we'll have again another Rosh Chodesh.